guys, good day. Alright, so today we're gonna discuss all about the screen design. Okay, let us understand how a screen design is important to the user. Okay, and what are the specific things that we need to understand in order to create a well-designed screen. Okay, so to proceed, let us go to the main objective of this discussion. Alright, so the main objective of this discussion are the following. First, understand the importance of making a screen design. Okay, identify the qualities in providing visual pleasing composition of a well-designed screen. Next, describe the purpose of developing well-designed screen. Okay, and the last one is describe the benefits of the user if they are working on the system that has a well-designed screen. Alright, so I hope this objective will be attained at the end of this discussion. Okay, so let us proceed. A screen design. How does the user distract on the screen? Okay, so as a user, what are the things that make a distraction to what? To interact into the screen. Okay, so I have here a list. First, unclear captions. Okay, meaning unclear caption doesn't have a clear caption to the specific thing that is presented on the screen. Okay, so that is one of the things that makes the user distract. Second, improper type and graphic emphasis. Okay, so when the user look at it to the screen and see that your graphic emphasis is not properly designed, so the user will be what? They will might think that this application is not properly what? Developed. Okay, or this screen or interface doesn't have a proper what way of making a good screen design. Okay, it's because of the screen that doesn't have the graphic emphasis. Okay, and doesn't have the proper type. Alright, third is misleading headings. Okay, this is very important if you are on in the interaction of the screen. So if there are misleading headings for the specific part in the application, so that makes the user confused. Okay, where is this heading came from and what is the purpose of this heading here? Alright, so it makes the users confused about the particular heading and why is it being there, not just aligning on the specific area of the text, which makes it more presentable. Alright, so that is one thing also to be considered. Fourth is clustered and crumpled or cramped layout. Okay, clustered and crumpled layout are those layouts are not properly organized. Okay, which makes the user see what by looking at the screen, the user will disappoint. Okay, they disappoint is because the icons doesn't have a proper organization. Okay, so they might something like the applications are being scattered to the screens. Okay, without having alignment. Okay, into each of the screen. Okay, the sizes of the logos are not the same. So how does a user can interact properly into that system or into that screen, right? So we should consider that one also. Next, poor quality of presentation. This is very important. If your presentation is not properly presented, how does the user understand what you have presented? Okay, especially if your texts are blurred, your picture is also blurred. Okay, it cannot be see properly. Okay, that is the that is really um, bad thing that you need to understand, okay, in making a design. So we should be concise, we should make our screen presentable, okay, by the what presentation itself. Okay, if your presentation is more professional, more neat and easily to understand, easily to navigate by the user, that is a thumbs up. Okay, it's because you have a good what you have a good design. Okay, but these are the things that we need to consider, which can distract the user. Most user will always observe on this. Okay, every time, as example, you as a user, every time you use in the application or in the game, if you did not like what you have seen in the application or in the graphics of the interaction, you will not use that again, or you will not play that again. 100% sure. Okay, it's because what you are looking is that you look into something that makes you interact, or that makes you interesting. Okay, or that makes you easily to navigate, easily to interact. Okay, that's what the users think. Alright, so visual inconsistency is also very important to think of when developing the screen design. Okay, so we should be consistent on the visual effect. Alright, lack of design features. Okay, this is also another thing that we need to consider. If your application or screen has lack of design features, what will happen? No one will use your application, or maybe somebody will use it one day, but in the next day they do not came back, they do not use it anymore. Okay, it's because you don't have a good design, a presentable design, or a feature which can make the user more more interactive and more precisely of using your system or application. Okay, you should need to make your application more professionally designed in order to make your user satisfied. Okay, that's one of the reasons. Next is overuse too many bright colors. Okay, if you are using or making a screen, do not use a lot of colors. Okay, so there are some users which will not prefer on having a lot of colors. Okay, be consistent to what you have created. Okay, avoid avoid making a lot of colors. Okay, use color which can which is um, not so bright for the eyes to see or to watch, not so light or not so dark for the user to look at. Okay, so we should need to use those colors that are neutral. Okay, not so bright and not so dark. Alright, that's what the users need. Last one is the bad typography. Okay, this is very important. Typography is the thing that we always used in making our application or a system. So we should consider having a typography which is more professional, more what's this simple. Okay, so that when the users look at into your screen, there are no there are no other what specific thing that could interact to what they have seen. Okay, so as they look into your typography, they can easily read and understand. Okay, do not use those typographies that has a lot of designs, or do not use those typography which is all are caps lock or are bold. Okay, you should understand that one also. So in Photoshop or graphics design, so we should consider that one also. When you are creating tarpaulins, creating invitations or cards, you should always consider the typography. Use at least 2 or maximum of 3 typography. Okay, so that you can minimize. Okay, so do not use a lot of typography in your screen. Okay, which, like for example, you want to be more artistic, so you are going to use a lot of typography, so that is wrong. So all you need to use is those typography or text that is more clearly to read by the user and simple. Okay, so that is the technique. Alright, so those are the user's distraction on the screen, so we need to consider this one when we are going to create our own design. Alright, so let us proceed to the variety of distractions. What are the variety of distractions to the screen? Okay, despite of those things that I have that we have discussed earlier, there are also a variety of distractions. First is numerous audio and visual interruption. Okay, so your audio must be properly organized, or not so very loud, or provide or use a sound or audio that is moderate to the user to hear. Okay, and also use an audio which also accurate to what they have interact. Okay, do not use an audio which is not related to what they have interact. Okay, it's like for example they are playing. Okay, then your music or your audio is not for games. Your music is for love songs or whatever, or the rock songs, which is not related to the games that they have interacted, right? So you need to consider that one also. Alright, and those specific thing that, like for example, they are texting, so some of the user don't use keypad tone. Okay, it's because they don't want to make a sound when they type their text. Okay, so there should have an option how to turn it on and turn it off. Okay, there should also have an option for the volume. Okay, it's because not all users are willing to adapt that one. So there are a lot of users which is not willing to hear those sounds when they are texting or they are typing something. Okay, visual interruption. So like for example, when you type your text, there are some advertisement or some pictures that will appear, right? So which makes that more irritating to the users. Okay, as a user, we don't want to have interruptions when we are using our phone, or when we are uh, playing our phone. We don't need, or we don't want to have interruption, especially if the game is so tricky. So there will be clashing. Okay, just like for example, Mobile Legend. So if you are playing Mobile Legend, then there are clashing on the ground, or the clashing in your game. Then there are something that will pop up automatically in your screen, which makes you irritated. That's why we need to what eliminate that one also, or we need to consider that one. Okay, so making games, making application is very important to understand those specific distractions that we need to eliminate. Okay, so we can have distractions, or we can have that one in other way. Okay, okay, do not use or make that in a specific way that could be possibly make the user to understand, okay, that's okay, it's because this is their advertisement, they can earn money on this. It's because I am using a free application or whatever, so they will understand that one. But one thing is for sure is they don't really need to have distractions when they are focusing to what they do, okay, on the screens. So we need to consider that one, we need to eliminate that one. Next is extensive visual clutter. Okay, so visual clutter are most thing that we need to consider also. So we don't need to have a lot of clutter in the screen. Okay, we need to eliminate that one. It's because if your screen has a lot of clutter inside, what will happen to the user? Okay, you know what will happen already. Alright, so poor information readability. Okay, so this is very important also, because most of the time user are going to read. The user are used to read what they want, what they are doing. Okay, navigating to another platform or navigating to another application needs reading. So if your text is not properly concise, or the texts are very small, which makes the user not easily to read or cannot read properly, that can make the user irritate. Okay, so we should properly design our application or screen that all the users can read and can understand what they are reading. Okay, that is very important. Confusing and inefficient navigation. Okay, this one also, if you are confused on that specific navigation, what are you going to do? Maybe something you are going to just escape that one. I don't know what will happen if I am going to click that one. Okay, and insufficient navigation. I would like to go to this part. How am I going to go to this part, which I don't see any buttons here? Okay, which is confusing to the user also. So we need to consider that one to make the user satisfied in navigating something in our application or a screen. Alright, next is inefficient operation. Okay, what if the user wanted to be like this and like that, and there is no operations like that in your application or or system? So what will happen? So the user will not use your system or application. It's because when they look for something, they don't see it in your application. So maybe that that operation is important to the user, so they will not use it again in your applications, because they do not see that kind of operations there. right? So that is very important also. So when we use our, or when we create or develop our screen, make sure that all the things that need for the user is in there, okay, properly aligned, properly categorized, specific, in a specific way. All right. Next is design inconsistency. Okay, so the design is inconsistent. Like for example, in the home page, your design is very professional, very neat, very easily to read, okay, and easily to navigate. But when the user go to the specific area of that kind of application, the what? The design is now blurry or not properly organized. What will happen? Okay, we should consider that whatever design that you have made in the first part of your application, you should be consistent to the following part of that, okay, so that the user will maintain their willingness to what? To use your application or system. Okay. Another one is outdated information. Okay. So when an information is outdated, what will happen to your application or system? Okay. So the user will just say, okay, I don't use this anymore. It's because the information here is not updated. They did not update anything. So what will happen? The user will be gone. They will not use your application anymore. It's because, especially, like for example, you student as a gamer, I think I know most of you are playing. So when your game doesn't have an update, and when you look at the other games, they are always, or they have already, or they have a lot of updates. They have a lot of something new which could make you browse, or which could make you discover. Okay, so but in your game, the company or the developer doesn't have any what update, okay, on the game. So whatever the game that you have interacted, that's it, no more updates. Even if I think you already finished all the obstacles on that game, and then you still don't have see the updates anymore. Okay, what will happen? So you will what? Uninstall the application. It's because there's no update. How are you going to interact, or how are you going to use that again? It makes you bored playing that games because there is no update. Okay, so you want to have new parts of the game to make you explore. Okay, so that's very important also. So you need to update the information, or whatever application that you are creating, you need to update the information. Okay, you need to update your screen designs always. Okay, as you can see on the games, Mobile Legends, Call of Duty, what else? I don't know what other games. So they have always an update. They used to change the home screen. They used to add up maps. They used to add up guns. They used to add up vehicles, whatsoever. Okay, so it makes you interact, or it makes you played more, or played a lot on the game. It's because you see that the game is updated, and there are a lot of new things that you need to explore, that you need to know, or that you need to test. Okay, so that's why you need to update the information. Alright, so variety of distractions. So I think, or I hope, you will consider these distractions when you create your own design, or when you create your own application also. Alright, okay, so let us proceed now to the next. What screen users want? Okay, what the users want for a screen design? Okay, let us discuss these 5 parts. The user wants are the following: an orderly, clean, clutter-free appearance screen. Okay, this is what the users need or want. They have an orderly, clean, clutter-free appearance. Okay, so most of the thing, this is very clear for us. Okay, next, an obvious indication of what is being shown and that should be done with it. Okay, this is that. Sorry for the spelling. Shown that should be done with it. Okay, so whatever application or whatever functionality that is being shown on the screen, that will lead into that specific reaction, or that specific action also. Okay, if let's say, for example, a control button. So a control button which is W and S. Okay, so W is forward, S is backward. Okay, A is left side, and D is for right side. Okay, so whatever the function of that keys should be that action. Okay, there is no action which is S is forward, D is backward. No, there should not be like that. Okay, so that will makes the user interact more into the screen. If what they want, or what would be the instructions on the specific function, that would it. Okay, so do not put any other functionality. It's because the user got confused if you have there the instruction that W is forward, S is backward, but when they use W is become backward, not forward. Okay, so we should consider that one also. So that is why what the users want is an obvious indication of what is being shown. Okay, and that should be done with it. Alright, so whatever they say, that would be that function. Okay, just like for example in your cell phone. So if you click the button, if you click the logo of Facebook, then it should go to pop up the Facebook, not a Google, right? So that's some example. Okay, next is expected information located where it should be. Okay, so it should have the expected information located where it should be. Let's like for example, if you are navigating something in your cell phone, you want to go to the settings. You expect that when you click that button, you will navigate into the settings. Alright, so that's how it works. So when you click the settings, and that button will go to the Google settings, which is not good. Okay, which makes the user confused. Why is it like this? I want to go to my phone settings, so then why is it happening that the Google setting is popping up. Okay, so it should be the phone setting, not the Google settings. Okay, so that is very important to understand also. So the user will expect whatever they see or whatever they touch on the screen, or whatever the things that they wanted to navigate there, is expected that they will navigate on that particular part. Okay, so that is very important. Plain and simple English. Okay, why? So that they can understand easily, the user can understand properly. Okay, so do not use any jargons or any other English words which is not familiar to everyone. Use a simple one. Okay, so that they can understand properly when they read your instructions or navigations. Okay, next is a clear indication of when an action can make a permanent change in the data. Okay, so a clear indication, just like for example, if you have something, if you change something in your, just like for example, you are making your PowerPoint presentation, and then after you saved it, okay, you save that into the documents, for example. Then right after a few minutes, you open it again, and you made something revision or edit something on the particular content, and then they are going to save it again. So how does a user know that they made a what edited the content? Okay, what is the indication that the content that they have added into the specific part is being kept or is being saved? Okay, so example is there are something, a message which can pop up, which will pop up and say it that and say that, okay, you have edited some content, would you like to save it or not? Okay, if you would you like to save, yes or no? Okay, that is something that could make the user see that, okay, so I made something. So just like for example, you accidentally delete all the data which is being formatted already, and then there is no message that would remind you that, are you sure that you're going to delete, yes or no? Automatic, all the content will be deleted. What will happen to the user? Right, so the user will get angry. How does this happen? Is this system or application capable of doing what I wanted to do or not? It's because what, all of my work is gone. It doesn't have any message that could cater my work, which make me remind that I don't want to delete it. Okay, so that's the thing that we need to consider also, and that's what the users want, that they will be reminded whenever they have changes, whenever they want to save it, there will have a message. Okay, so that they will understand, okay, no, I will not delete this one, alright, or I will not save the changes that I made. Alright, so there is an option. Okay, so that is very important also. Okay, so as you can see, today, as we used to have computers, cell phones, laptops, so more specifically, all the things that we interact into that particular gadget are very useful. Okay, so that's the reason why developers are more careful. They just they don't uh, develop one thing harshly or easily, or let's say they don't develop a computer in just one day. Okay, they will develop that particular application or system more than a year or a year, and they have a lot of people working on different parts of that system, so that all the possible um, possible questions or possible things that the users want will be addressed. Alright, so they after creating or after developing the system, they will conduct a what they will conduct a dry run to that specific application and test. Okay, after the test is done and properly executed, then that's the time that the developer will what deploy the system or an application. Okay, so we need to understand what the users want, or what the users need in the application. Okay, so let us proceed to the goal of the good screen design. What are the good, or what are the goals of a good screen design? Okay, specifically, the goals of a good screen design are the following: reduce visual work. Okay, so it could reduce easily for the visual work, as they say, so they will not find another one. It's because they can easily navigate, they can easily see what they want. Okay, reduce intellectual work. Okay, it is easy for them to navigate, it is easy for them to manipulate. Reduce memory work. Okay, so they just don't think anything, or they just don't think more, just to understand what will happen to the system, or what will happen to what they were, or what they interact. Okay. Reduce mentor work. Okay, so they don't need somebody to help them anymore. With just one, or with just one, for example, with just one teach with the administrator, so they can catch up already. Okay, so usually when the developers are deploying their applications or systems, they will conduct what's this trainings, okay, to the users. So see to it that the system could make the user easy to understand all the functions and the navigations. Okay, so that is why that is very important. So only once they conduct the training, then after that one, the user will go their own. Okay, so as a user, also you need to understand how the systems work, so that it will address your problem and it makes your work easier and faster. Okay, eliminate burdens or instructions. Okay, so with having a good screen design, then it will eliminate burdens. Okay, so how did you make have a lot of burdens if your screen are well designed? So there is no problem with your work, so you can easily use the system or an application. It's because that is properly designed. Okay, and all the instructions are properly uh, written, okay, and easily to understand also. Okay, so that's the goal of the screen design. Okay, so I hope when you use or when you create your own application in the future, you should consider this one also. Okay, so that your user will satisfied. Okay, and make sure also that all the needs of the user is addressed. Okay, you need to conduct survey so that you will know what the users need and what the users want. Okay, so it is very important, especially when you go or when you undergo your thesis writing in fourth year or third year. You're going to develop something or program, so this is very important. This is the first way of creating, or this is the first step for you to create or for you to understand how the systems work and what are the importance of evaluating the users before you make your or before you deploy your system. Okay, next is the screen meaning and purpose. Okay, so each screen elements have control, all text, screen organization, all emphasis, each color, everyday graphics, all screen animation, and all forms of feedbacks. So there should have this kind of content inside your screen, and all of this must have meaning to the screen users. Okay, so make sure that all of these elements will have a meaning to the users. Okay, do not include each of these if one of these doesn't have a meaning in your screen users. So there should have a meaning of this. Okay, what about the control? Okay, every control, every navigation should have a what? Should have a purpose where it navigates. Okay, all text. Okay, all text should be concise and clearly understood by the user. Screen organization, you need to organize your screen, avoid cluttered. All emphasis. Okay, everything would have the emphasis to the user so that they can easily understand, they can easily see what will happening in the what in the application. Each colors, so each color should have a specific what's this purpose on the screen. Okay, so as what I have said, use a standard color. Do not use a color which is very bright and very dark. Okay, you should have to make your color blend to the text and to the background also, especially this one. As you can see, this one I have here a blue color and I used it white text. Okay, so this is a good example of having a emphasize, okay, in the background and in the text. When you okay, when you make this color of the text into blue, what will happen to the text? So the user cannot see clearly to the text. It's because they can only see the color which is blue, but instead there is text on that particular part. Okay, so you need to decide what color will blend into this particular background or will make it more clearer to make to the users to read. Okay, if you make this one into red, yes, that's fine, but red is more lighter. Okay, so they can maybe the user will make having an irritating to their eyes looking at the text which is red. It's because the red is so bright on this particular color. So it is important to be specific on this color, and try to imagine or try to uh, change any color which will make your eyes more comfortable. Okay. Second is serve a purpose in performing tasks. Okay, organizing screen elements. Okay, so all of these elements should have to serve also its purpose. Okay, perform the task. Okay, organize the screen elements. Okay, so that is very important, and that's how the screen design means. Okay, next, ordering of screen data and content. Okay, so how are we going to order the screen data and the content? Here, first, divide information into units that are logical. Okay, so you need to divide information into different units, meaningful and sensible. Okay, so divide or separate those information which is meaningful, and separate those information which is sensible. Okay, so that the user can easily find, okay, this is all the meaningful information that I want or that I need. Okay, this is all the information, the sensible information that I need. Okay, so it is easy for the user to pick or to locate where it is located, instead of scrambling all those information, which is very hard to the user to find. Alright, organized by interrelationships between data or information. Okay, so you need to organize interrelationship between the data and information. Okay, separate the data which is not being processed, and separate those information that is already an information, or the data that is being processed to make an information. Okay, so most of the thing, data is more related to information, because information is not become an information without the data. Data is a raw fact which gives which is being processed to make us an information. Okay, without the data there is no information. Alright, so you need to organize this too also. Okay, next is provide an ordering of screen units of elements depending on priority. Okay, so you should have the ordering. It's like, for example, what are the specific application that is more frequently needed by the user? Okay, which are those applications that are not frequently used by the user? Okay, so there are separation or divided units on that also. Or you need to order things in the screens. Like, for example, in our Facebook or in our phone. Okay, as a user we usually organize our application. Okay, these are the multimedia applications. Okay, this is my Facebook account, Google account, Twitter account, okay, and whatsoever. Okay, you are categorizing that one, and the other part naman is, this is your Google, this is your Mozilla or whatsoever. Okay, browsers, and this part is, these are my phone settings, Google settings, what else, themes, photos, and whatsoever. Okay, so we used to do that in our phone. So in making a screen also, in ordering the screen, they should have also like that when we used to develop our own. Okay, next is form groups that overall possibilities. Okay, so you need to form a group that is overall possibilities. So there will be a that group that needs the user frequently. Okay, a group of application which is uh, the user doesn't use it frequently. Okay, so there should have a groupings also. Ensure that information is visible. Yes, it's because how does a user see information if the your information is not visible, right? So the user is using your applications because they want to know the information about it, or they want to know the information inside it. Okay, especially like for example payroll system. Okay, what are the information inside? Payroll of payroll of the instructors, payroll of the GOs, payroll of the regular instructors, and whatsoever. Okay, if those information becomes not visible to the user, what will happen, right? So they cannot create salary. It's because they don't see. So that is why you need to make your information visible. Okay, easily to find. Alright, ensure that only information relative to task is presented on screen. For example, a person walking into the field. Okay, so you search that one, and then the picture that will pop up is the person who is running, which makes you confused, right? Because you search the person who is walking, but then when the search is, or when the information is popping up, the information is not accurate. Okay, so we should consider that one also, and that's part of the screen data, ordering the screen data and content also. Next is provide an obvious starting point in the screen's upper left corner. Okay, so we should have an obvious starting point on the screens. Okay, so when we create our options, so there should have is an easily way of navigating, okay, to the content. Alright, so that is on how are we going to order the screen data and content. Next is screen navigation and flow. Okay, provide an ordering of screen information and elements that is rhythmic, guiding a person's eye through display. Okay, encourages natural movement sequences and minimize pointers and eye movement distances. Okay, so these are the elements, okay, in order to provide the ordering screen information. Next is assist in navigation through a screen by alignment or aligning elements, grouping elements, use of line borders. So this is one thing that we need to consider also when navigating the screens. So it is very important to have an alignment of all the elements inside the screens. Okay, so for example this kind of display, if our display doesn't have the alignment look like this, what will happen? The user is not properly convinced on the on the alignment of the content. That is very important. So we need to consider the alignment of our content in order to make or to see it more professionally, or to see it more uh, precisely. Okay, so that is why we consider this one also, grouping elements also, and use of line and borders. Okay, example, visually pleasing composition. So we have balance, symmetry, regularity, predictability, economy, unity, proportion, simplicity, and groupings. So these are the visually pleasing composition. So as you can see here, the balance, when you see balance, both sides are balanced. Just like for example this one. Okay, there is a small box here, and also this one big box, and here. So this is an example of a balance. Okay, when you say instability, this one, instability doesn't have a balanced composition of each content. Okay, which is not very appealing when we are seeing this kind of display. Okay, you can use this one maybe in some specific way. Okay, so like for example, maybe on the newspaper. Okay, so you have a lot of contents on the newspaper. You can have the pictures, you can have the content of the text. Okay, so we can use this one, instability. But on screens, more likely we need really to have a balance. Okay, so this one, I don't know if there are some things that used to make this content like this. Okay, as what I have observed, all of the things that we need to consider is a balance. Okay, so there should balance both sides. Okay, next is symmetry. Okay, symmetry is like this. If you have this kind of parts in this side, make sure that this at the right side also has a balance part of the same size here. Okay, so as you can see, this one, it is very pleasing to see. Okay, it's because both are the same. Okay, unlike this one, okay, as you can see, this one, it is not really pleasing to see in our eyes that both sides are not the same. Okay, so most specifically, users are willing to see screens that are more precisely balanced. Okay, you can use this one. This is what we call symmetry. Okay, so assuming that this has a lot, this has some information, this one also, and this one. Okay, but if you want to add another information for the left side, you should also make use of this kind, so that both sides would be balanced into this side. Okay, so it is very pleasing in our eyes to see that both are the same and same size. Okay, regularity, so this one, so as you can see, it is more likely the same. Okay, unlike this irregularity, you can see it is very cluttered, so a lot of boxes doesn't have the same size. Okay, so which is not unpleasant for us to see on the screen, unlike this one. Okay, so that is why we need to consider the alignment, the size. Make sure the size is the same, the width is the same, the alignment of each contents are aligned. Okay, example, this one, predictability. So predictability is look like this one. So as you see, this one is an icon, title bar, icon, okay, menu bar. Okay, so these are the buttons here, and as you can see, this is organized, okay, unlike this one. Okay, so the control is here, the title box is the menu box is here, control is here again, which is button is here, icon is here, another icon is here, another icon is here also, which is very irritating to the user to look at your screen looking like this. Okay, which is not very unpleasant, okay, to the user to navigate, which is this one. So the user can easily navigate or can easily see, okay, the icons is there at the top, left side and the right side. Okay, the buttons are at the bottom, the controls are in the center. Okay, so the user can easily see the difference of the functionality, so they can predict how are they going to navigate into your system or into your screen. Okay, sequentially the eye trend to be attracted to, so these are the things that the eye is trends to be attracted. So a brighter element before one less bright. Okay, isolated elements before elements in a group. Okay, graphics before text. Okay, color before black and white. Okay, this is what the users preferred. Okay, so the highly saturated color before those less saturated, dark areas before light areas, a big element before a small one. Okay, so these are the trends which the eyes could attract to. Okay, so this is very important also. Okay, so this is the end of the first topic. Okay, so now this is our assessment number 5, or assessment number 1 for the final. Okay, so read the statement carefully and choose your best answer on the choices. Okay, so all you need to do is read the statement and choose your best answer. For our activity 1, okay, I want you to lay out your own user interface, okay, and apply the basic concept of developing a good screen design. Okay, you can use HTML, Visual Basic, Java, or etc. Okay, so as long as you can provide a well-designed user interface with at least 2 screens linked to each other. Okay, so you can navigate the 2 screens. Okay, if you are going to go to the second screens, then you should have a buttons. Okay, then record a video in your activity, send me the link on the submission comments, and make sure that you are the one making it. Okay, so thank you for listening, and I hope you have learned something about this discussion today. Okay, so bye bye and God bless.